What up, guys? Thanks for clicking the button. This is Ranting and Raving. Dan and Don. Donnie's still in Cali, hopefully making his way home soon, so he can be here to do a little ranting or a little raving with me. I don't know. Donnie's more of a ranter, I guess. I guess I do the raving. A little NBA action here on Tuesday morning. Ant-Man guys, Anthony Edwards. I don't know if you know anything about him. This guy's a monster. He plays for Minnesota. I think it's his third year. He was Rookie of the Year in 2020, number one overall pick. This guy's awesome. Minnesota doesn't have a lot of regularly telegraphed games. So just looking at this dunk, and this dunk is just ferocious. John Collins thought about blocking it for a second, and then you can literally see him right here. He just tucks and guards himself. Like, that's a true posterize. Like, that's an embarrassing moment where you can't come back. Look at this. Oh, I'm gonna get hurt. That's a little embarrassing. And he tucks, and then it looks like he's either faking an injury or he actually did get injured on top of getting dunked on. That is awesome. Ant-Man, that is Kobe-esque right there. Guys, let me know, how good do you think Ant-Man is? Have you had a chance to watch him play? Where do you think he ranks in the NBA? He's definitely one of the most fun guys to watch. Still drinking my morning coffee. So last night, Ant-Man had a ferocious dunk. Definitely the dunk of the year. I believe it was over John Collins. Take another look at it. On the play, did injure himself, so we'll have to tune into Dr. Sutterer, see what he has to say about the injury. I don't think it'll be too long. It was on his finger. Guys, the dunk was awesome. Last week, he had the best block of the year I've seen so far. So within a week, this guy now has the block of the year and the dunk of the year. Guys, Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards is awesome. Make sure you tune in. Find a way to watch him play, whether it be highlights, ESPN, or if you need to get the NBA package to watch the games, you got to find a way to watch this guy play. Anyways, thanks for tuning in. NBA Tuesday morning. Let me know where you think he ranks in the NBA. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know who your favorite players are. Click like, click subscribe. Do something to better yourself today, guys. Whether it be the gym or healthier choice, just do a few push-ups. If you can't do a push-up, start small. Jumping jacks, sit-ups. I'm 40. Me and Donnie are on a new journey to better ourselves. It'd be awesome if you guys joined with us.
Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Brian Sutterer, and my goal in this channel is to help teach you about the medical side of the sports world. This is one I got to show you in full speed first. I mean, this was just unreal with Anthony Edwards over John Collins. But as he goes up here, look what happens with his left hand. And specifically, I think it's his middle finger that got injured. So as he goes up here, we can even see how distorted John Collins' face gets here because of Anthony Edwards' finger appearing to get jammed or likely hyperextend, meaning bend backwards as a result of poking into poor John Collins' face here. Now, Collins had to leave the floor for a little bit. Hopefully he's doing okay. As we can see, though, continues to go up here. That finger is still hyperextended, meaning bent backwards on Collins' face, finally releases off. And then as Edwards comes through on the rest of the play here, we see him point to the camera and just show his hand. And I think the finger that we're concerned about is going to be this one right here. So his middle finger, likely what I think is a dorsal dislocation of his proximal interphalangeal joint, or a dorsal PIP dislocation. Quick anatomy lesson here with our biodigital anatomy tools. So looking at a hand, of course, we have the thumb. The thumb is on the radial side of the hand. Pinky is on what we call the ulnar side of the hand. And then we have the thumb, the pointer finger or index finger, the long finger or the middle finger, the ring finger, and then the small or the pinky finger. These joints right here are going to be the joints between the metacarpal bones and the phalanges. But then we have these three phalanges. You have a proximal phalanx, a middle phalanx, and a distal phalanx. This joint right here is going to be the proximal, meaning it's closer to the rest of the body, interphalangeal joint, so proximal joint between the two phalanxes. And then this is going to be the distal interphalangeal joint. So proximal, distal, and it looks like it was likely this joint right here that dislocated for Edwards. Now we define these dislocations based on the direction of this further segment. So if this further segment, that middle phalanx, goes up towards the back of the hand, we call that a dorsal dislocation. If it goes down forward, we call that a volar dislocation. And the dorsal dislocations where it goes up are going to be much more common. And so what you'll see in that case is an increased prominence of that part of the knuckle on that inner volar side of the hand, because this part of the finger has gone that way. And so then we see this part of the phalanx sticking out more prominent. And this looks like what we're seeing here with Edwards. So as we go through slowly on this final sequence, we can see how that middle finger looks to be bent kind of awkwardly. There looks to be a little bit more prominence of that volar side of that joint right there with that distal location, back dorsal. So I suspect still, again, based on this view, dorsal dislocation of that PIP joint. Treatment for this kind of thing is pretty straightforward. You're going to do what we call closed reduction. So you're going to pop the finger back into place. A very simple thing. Their athletic trainer, or if there's team docs there for the Jazz, very capable, very easy to do this and get it back in place. Once you get it back popped in place, if it's stable, meaning it stays in place, if it's the middle of the game, you don't have access to x-ray. As long as it's stable when you pop it back in, you can buddy tape it to the other nearby finger like we see here with Edwards and let him go back in and play. If it keeps popping out, that suggests there could be a big fracture chunk sitting there inside the finger, and so then you're going to hold them out because of that unstable joint. The long-term treatment and just recovery time then depends on if there is a fracture. Number one, was the joint stable? Presumably yes, because they were able to tape it, get him back in the game, but I don't think they were able to get x-rays in that short amount of time for him to get back out there and shoot the free throw. So expect him to get x-rays after the game. If there's a fracture and it involves a certain extent of that joint where those two bones articulate, then sometimes you need to do surgery for these types of things. But if it's a small enough fracture or there's no fracture, then it's just going to be a period of time in a splint or buddy taped with those fingers together, unless there's something else unusual like a tendon injury, which they just might not have picked up right away. So I'm hopeful that unless we see a big fracture, this should not be an issue for Edwards going forward. I do expect that he'll probably have those fingers taped for a number of weeks or so while that joint kind of scars down and heals up, but shouldn't be necessarily a long-term thing unless we find a major fracture. So that's it for the video. Crazy dunk of the year play. Hopefully Edwards is okay. Let me know as always any questions or comments down below. And until next time, we'll see you later.
All right, just my final thoughts real quick. In full speed, the dunk was crazy. You couldn't see nearly anything you could see in the doctor's video when he broke it down in slow motion. You like literally paused it. It was like finger right here. And the finger was all messed up. I hope they're both okay. I hope both players don't miss any time. Do I really think Minnesota's going to make a deep playoff run? Probably not. Maybe round 2 before they get knocked out. But I hope they come back full strength. I hope Cat's back, guys. I hope you're excited for the NBA playoffs. I know I sure am. It's basically my favorite time of year. There's nothing quite like the NBA playoffs. Thanks for watching. Leave a comment. Have an awesome day. Take care of yourselves.